I just told somebody I had been battling a sinus infection. I felt much better yesterday, and all of a sudden it dawned on me it was the opening of the season. I had a game to watch last night, which I did, and of course a whole bunch today. So it's a great way to open the season, and I don't really have anything else. Any questions you have? Fire away.
Conversations with the president. Conversations with the president.
Yeah, I had multiple conversations with the president. He was in very good humor today, and I said at one point when he had a Nationals jacket, I don't think I've ever been at a game with you. He didn't have a Sox jacket, and he says, I got something coming. And sure enough, here came the White Sox hat. So, but he was in good humor. We talked a lot of baseball, as a matter of fact.
How important is that to baseball?
Well, when you think back to the history, start with William Howard Taft all the way to the president, and you open on a day like this, no matter how many opening days you've seen and how many times you've been with a president, there's just something electric about it. And it's a great thing for baseball, and it really this has really been a very, very rewarding day.
What was your first one with the president?
First one with the president was I got to think about that now. It was Bill Clinton, I think. But I don't remember the year. And then, of course, a significant number of them with President Bush, including when we opened up the Milwaukee Stadium in 2001, which was very, very memorable. So I've had a lot of them now.
What's your sense of optimism for the season, particularly?
You know, it's interesting. I just said to somebody a year ago, I had a lot of trepidation. We're in the worst economic downturn since the Great Depression, and I even went back, as I do. A lot of you know how I like to look at attendance numbers and other numbers, and I look back to what happened during the Great Depression, and realizing that there wasn't a great deal of relevancy to that, but I did it anyway. And you have reason to be concerned, and of course we wound up last year having a marvelous year, given everything. I mean, with the two reduced capacities of the two New York ballparks, we really did remarkably well. And I feel good this year. I really do. I mean, I'm not, I obviously monitor every club. I've been doing that lately with some great degree. And I feel good. I feel really good about where we are this year. The sport has never been more popular. You can take any criteria that you want to use, and this sport has never been this popular.
Attendance numbers.
And, the attendance numbers are a dramatic criteria of it. I mean, you can...
Are you still projecting an increase?
Eric, we'll see. I'm not going to make any predictions today, because if I'm right, nobody will say a word, and if I'm wrong, you'll all remind me 400 times. So, I sort of grew out of that years ago. But I feel good about where we are. I feel very good about where we are, to underscore. I'll give you that much of a hint.
Bud, what's your breakdown on the Phillies-Nats rooting out there in the crowd? Is that unusual?
You know what it reminds me of, Tom? This is interesting, which is why I believe in what I call interurban rivalries. I really do, and I do. It reminds me of the Cardinal-Cubs games, Milwaukee Cub games, Milwaukee Cardinal games. There are certain games that produce a lot of crowds that really remind you. And when I was standing with the president before the game, and I hear all this cheering, and I said to Ted Lerner, what are they chanting? And, well, he didn't know. Fortunately, he didn't know, because they were chanting, "Let's go Phillies," and that would have been... I think it's great. I think it's great for the sport. I really do. Enormous interest, obviously, in Philadelphia, and the fact that people travel as much as they do now. You see it all over town. The fact, you were talking before about how popular the sport is, or I was, and the intensity. I've never seen intensity like this. And so the fact that, I don't know if a third of this crowd is for Philly, it's hard to tell. I mean, I'll let the rest of you make that judgment. Bussed up and driven up from Philadelphia is only a testament to this game's popularity.
But how about Washington, D.C. as a baseball town? Is it coming into its own?
I have no doubts, and I mean this very sincerely. And it's absolutely beautiful day, this really beautiful ballpark. that I know I've talked to Stan a lot, I've talked to Mike Rizzo a lot, I've talked to the learners, obviously, to everybody, and I feel comfortable. After this, look at this market, and I know it took a long time for us to come back, so I'll beat somebody to the punch who says that. But this is clearly, with a good competitive club, will be a great major league market. It won't be a good one. It will be a great one. I have no doubt about it.
Now, as with new ballparks in the past, we usually get an all-star game awarded within the first couple of years. Any sense of when we'll have
well, the problem with it is that you're right. New ballparks generally do, but we have 24 new ballparks, and that's my problem right now. I got everybody after me for every year. Years ago, in the 90s, really, and I'm not kidding, you used to have to talk somebody into taking an all-star game. Now everybody wants one, and they're very aggressive about it. So, look, Washington deserves an all-star game, and we'll certainly look at that.
But the on-field committee stuff,
Yeah.
anything else new you guys kicking around? Any timetable for any new decisions on that?
Well, we've had one 5-hour meeting. We've had 2 long conference calls. We have some more things to announce out of the committee for this year. I would tell you, and I think those of you who know people who are on the committee, I know the Philadelphia people, know Dave Montgomery, everybody tells me it's as good a baseball committee as they've ever been on. The meetings have been fascinating. And everybody comes well prepared. The 4 managers, really are interesting. They have, I know, they've all told me individually how much they've enjoyed things, and I'm grateful for that. So a lot will come out of that committee, that's all I'll tell you.
For the playoffs?
Well, I think we've done as much as we can do for this year, but we have a lot of work to do for the coming years.
Any expansion of the replay at all?
Well, it's a subject that's under, that we'll certainly talk about. I must say to you that the baseball people in that committee, I don't want to speak for them because I've told everybody nobody should be talking about what's going on, so I don't want to violate my own thing. But there's not a lot of feeling for more replay. In fact, there's very little.
But since this is a Washington-Philly day, what was the talk about the McNabb trade?
I don't know, it's baseball. My goodness gracious. I'm a football fan. This is opening day. If you really want to know, Tom, I'm going to give you a brutally honest answer. I got up at 5:30 this morning to do my daily workout. And I was watching an unnamed channel, and that's all they talked about. I turned it off. That was my reaction. My goodness gracious.